What's going on, movers? Can you believe it? It's already day 13, which means we have been at this now for just about 2 weeks, and we are starting to build that habit. It's starting to turn to that point. If you've been showing up every day, it's getting to that point where not doing this routine is going to be more uncomfortable than doing the routine. And that's our goal. It's kind of like brushing our teeth, right? Brushing our teeth only takes 2 minutes in the morning, 2 minutes at night. So let's just call it 5 minutes a day, right? At least that's what it should be. But if we skip it, our mouth is going to feel gross. We're going to taste weird things. It's just going to throw our day off. So we need to show up consistently for things to become normal. Now, speaking of showing up consistently, I've had a couple of you reach out saying that now that you're beginning to do this more regularly, you're starting to feel certain things in your body, maybe some soreness or some stiffness that you didn't have before going through the routine. And I thought this would be a good opportunity to talk about that because a lot of times, if we do go from, say, not doing a lot of mobility into doing mobility, then our body is moving around. And if our body is not used to moving around, then it can be aggravated, particularly in the lower back. Okay, so why is this so important for us to understand? Well, the lower back, this area kind of right here from the bottom of the rib cage to, let's say, just below the belly button here, this area is meant to be very stable. Okay, so we talked in the very beginning of this challenge about how we have mobile joints. Those mobile joints are the ankles, our wrists, hips, the thoracic spine, the neck, the shoulders. But then we have stable joints like our knees and our elbows, and in this case, our lower back. And they're not meant to be mobile. They're not meant to move around a lot. And in the course of going through this routine, there is definitely some exposure to some movement that maybe if we're stiff and we're tight, the stiffness keeps our spine in place so it doesn't move around very much. But then as soon as we start to loosen up the hips and we start to loosen up the shoulders, it may cause a little bit of stress there. So the key is that we need to relieve the pressure and the tension that's been put on the lower back by opening up the hips and by opening up the shoulders and chest. But even when we do that, we still need to gain the control or the ability to use the stable portions of our body, like our core and like our butt. So if you're starting to feel things like, let's just say back pain as an example, one of the big keys is we got to get the butt and the core activated so that they can hold the lower back in place so that when we're mobilizing the hips below and we're mobilizing the shoulders and chest above, this just stays where it is. And so it could be aggravated. It could be that as we're doing things like our trunk twists, that we're too loose in the core in the lower body, and that's creating too much torque on the lower back. So if we're doing a trunk twist, if we have our butt controlled and our core controlled as we turn, it's not the lower back that's twisting, it's the hip and the chest that's twisting. Now, the one that we can't necessarily get away from, but the toe touch sky reach, we are going to go forward and backward, and that lower part of the spine is going to move. Now, the good news in this case is that if the lower spine, the lumbar spine down here, that low back, if it is going to move, forward and backward is the way we want it to move. That's the only direction that your lower back can actually move. It's designed to move. There's very little wiggle room in your lower back to go side to side or to twist. Forward and backward is okay to a certain extent. But regardless, the key here again, keep the butt squeezed, keep the core engaged so that we can control this midline so that we're opening up the mobile joints, not stressing out those stable joints. It's the same thing if we were to, say, stretch out our knee a whole bunch, you're then going to have knee problems because this isn't supposed to be loose. This is supposed to be super stable. So when people, for example, try to roll out their IT band, it oftentimes creates more trouble because we don't want the IT band to be loose. We just want our hips to be open, and that can oftentimes feed slack back down to the knee and take tension off the IT band, but we're not directly working the IT band. So I thought we would start the day by talking about that. The last thing we want is to be going through this effort and showing up every day doing the work and have our body hurt. And so understanding where some of that pain or discomfort might be coming from is important. But with that all said, let's jump into the routine here. We're going to bring our right foot up nice and high. We're going to squeeze our right forearm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Switch it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Switch sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Onto the neck and shoulder area. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Switch directions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Switch sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Switch directions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Arm across the chest. Push that arm away while not letting it go anywhere. And we control it going up and down, back up, and down. Switch sides, up, and down, and up, and down. Both arms out, diver's press, big breath, reaching, pressing those hands together, turning them, opening up those shoulders, big sweep down, other arm on top. Keep pressing those hands together, keep reaching. Remember, with all these exercises, we're only going where our body will allow us. If in the diver's press you can only get to here, then only do that. Only go up if you can get there without doing what I just did. Notice I arched my back. Okay? We want these arms to move independently from our back. Okay, there's another reason why if anybody's experiencing back pain, that could be a part of it, is that there's just, again, too much movement going on down here. Let's go into our flip downs. Speaking of no movement, this one in particular, we want to be very careful. Have no movement anywhere in the torso. As soon as your chest drops even just a little bit, you lose this stretch. Now, if you are experiencing some soreness in your back, I'd be cautious about this next one. Just go slow. But to bend down and come back up could put extra stress on the lower back. Even more reason why we soften our knees as we go down. It's not about locking the knees and rounding our back as much as we can. It's about pushing those hips back and getting a stretch in the back of the legs. The deeper we can go, the more open our hips are, but it's not about let me just round my back forward and backward and forward and backward. That can be a little bit too much. So we just go slowly over time. Knees stay out. Push those hips back. And then from here, we're going to go into our side bends. Side bends, it's important. Torso stays tall. Lean to the side. Big breath. Switch sides. And let's go into our trunk twists. Again, really important if you are feeling anything in your back, maybe bring your arms in a little bit closer with this one. Okay, if your arms are too far out, you could have too much momentum, puts too much torque on your back, and if you're not able to control it, it's just going to put extra stress there. Let's bend over, knees stay out, always working within ourselves. Right knee up. Hug it in close, push it away, close, push away, close, push away. Send behind you. Samson lunge, heels off the ground. Couple breaths. Switch sides. In close, away, in close, away, in close, push away, in close, send it away from you. Hips stay square, heels off the ground, twist and reach. And then finally, some side squats. Get those hips open. Hi, Goose. You here to help? Yeah, I saw you were chasing a little chipmunk, huh? Go ahead, go get him. Beautiful. And there you have it, everybody. Power warm up day 13 is complete. I really appreciate everybody sending in those questions. The questions and comments that we see and hear behind the scenes drive what we talk about each day. And that's ultimately our goal, is to be able to tailor this content specifically for you. So make sure you drop them in the comments below. I'll catch you all tomorrow. Move better, play better.